And straight to our top story this morning, which is the mounting travel troubles caused by the government shutdown, now entering its fourth week with no end in sight. And good Tuesday morning to you, Washington. So glad you're with us. I'm Adam Longo.
And I'm Adriana Hopkins. Air traffic controllers who have been working without pay are expected to miss their first full paycheck today. 7 News reporter John Gonzalez leads us off this morning live at Reagan National Airport with what this all means for travelers. John, good morning.
Adriana, good morning. Nearly 7,000 flights were delayed nationwide Monday alone. Passengers can expect more delays, possibly even cancellations this week. Air traffic controllers and TSA agents are still reporting for duty, but today they are now officially working without pay. The FAA says more than 50 air traffic control staffing shortages were reported since Friday, causing delays from LA to DC. Around 13,000 controllers and 50,000 TSA agents are considered essential workers around the country. Over the weekend, flights at Los Angeles International Airport were temporarily halted due to staffing gaps at a major control center, and here at home, a ground delay lasted hours at DCA.
That leads to a necessary distraction, and they cannot be 100% focused on their jobs, which makes this system less safe every day that this shutdown continues.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says controllers are, quote, wearing thin. Now, since the start of the shutdown, there have been more than 260 staffing incidents, 4 times higher than this time last year. Officials reiterate to travelers travel is still just as safe right now as it's always been, but they are warning passengers to plan ahead and expect long lines and delays. Reporting live at Reagan National Airport.
Day 28 of the government shutdown, now the second longest in U.S. history. And this morning, growing concern for families across our region. SNAP benefits could be delayed as the federal government shutdown drags on. Let's go now to 7 News' John Gonzalez with the latest. John, good morning.
Adriana, good morning. And with this government shutdown now threatening to become the longest in U.S. history, House Speaker Mike Johnson says now the nearly $5 billion in contingency funds simply cannot legally cover some on Monday on Capitol Hill. So millions of Americans who rely on SNAP benefits could face missed payments starting November 1st, and that includes nearly 700,000 residents in Maryland, including almost 270,000 children here in Virginia. Governor Glenn Youngkin has declared a state of emergency to ensure food assistance continues for approximately 850,000 residents. The state will use funds from its $10 billion surplus.
Pre-existing appropriation for the contingency fund to be used, and Democrats blocked that appropriation when they rejected the clean continuing resolution. So the way to make this stop immediately is we just need a handful. We need 5 more Democrats in the Senate to do the right thing.
But local leaders, including Maryland Governor Wes Moore and Attorney General Anthony Brown, are warning against leaving families in the lurch. Moore says the state can't front money for SNAP without federal reimbursement guarantees, while Brown is demanding answers from the USDA over these withheld payments. Reporting live, John Gonzalez, 7 News.
Well, this comes as the city of Manassas sent out a notice saying the city's social services agency is ready to help residents. It reads in part, quote, the 42-member team is working closely with local partners to connect residents to immediate support. And they're also encouraging residents with any remaining SNAP balances to use that money to buy non-perishable foods and household essentials.
Millions of SNAP beneficiaries lose their aid starting November 1st. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has posted a notice on its webpage blaming Democrats for the continued government shutdown, saying the well has run dry. Last Friday, the Trump administration announcing it would not use contingency funds of roughly $5 billion to keep those benefits flowing. Thanks for joining us for 2 News at 5 tonight. I'm Heidi Hatch.
And I'm Jim Spiewak. So tonight we're in Weber County, where some people are voicing new frustrations directed at politicians for the government shutdown.
Liv Kelleher joins us from Ogden this evening. And Liv, how are people responding to another week now of missed paychecks and also less help that could be coming from the government?
Well, Heidi, the word I heard most today, ridiculous. Residents here in Ogden tell me that they're tired of political games without solutions, especially as the impacts could soon leave them hungry.
Are you at all worried about being able to feed yourself, put food on the table, cost of groceries? Does that concern you at all?
Yes, it does a lot. What the government's doing with our food is not right.
It's just ridiculous. They just use politics and it hurts other people.
For days, I've been asking federal and state leaders the same question. What happens to Utah families if SNAP funding runs out? The U.S. Department of Agriculture's original contingency plan said it would continue funding core nutritional programs during a shutdown. But in a memo released 3 days ago, the USDA appears to walk that back, saying contingency funds are not legally available and that states cannot cover the cost of benefits and be reimbursed. I again reached out to Governor Cox's office, offering an unedited interview to discuss food insecurity for thousands of Utahns. The request was declined, and I was referred back to Workforce Services. We offered the same interview to leaders in both the Utah House and Senate. The House also declined, saying they hope the federal government will do the right thing. The Senate did not respond.
I don't like politics. I think they both need to get their heads out.
For Ogden resident Pam Royster, whose sons lost work because of the shutdown, she believes lawmakers would respond differently if they felt some of their own financial pressure.
I think that they should not be paid or they should not get health care when the constituents don't.
The Department of Workforce Services also provided an update on Saturday saying that EBT cards will work if you have any remaining balances. Many SNAP residents say they've already spent their balances last week after being told that their cards may not work come November 1st. These mixed messages only adding to frustration as Utahns already feel in the middle of political partisanship. Reporting live in Ogden, Liv Kelleher, KUTV 2 News.
And first at 5:30 starting this Saturday, almost 170,000 Mainers who rely on SNAP benefits are going to stop getting that money, which they say they count on to have enough food.
Tonight, we go to Rockport, where CBS 13's Max Williams spoke with farmers determined to help keep their neighbors from going hungry.
Melanie Daigle is the owner of Fresh Off the Farm in Rockport. She says today's task is pricing this produce fresh off the truck, but says there is a far bigger task at hand.
When I saw this, I said, here we go again. Here's some kids that aren't going to be eating.
Daigle says she has made it her mission to make sure children in her area are fed. That's why last week she filled more than 40 bags of groceries for SNAP recipients.
So you basically paused everything that goes on out there to help other families.
Absolutely.
Felicia Wade, the farm's manager, says they kept the store open, but put pricing and restocking the shelves aside to focus on the families who needed the food most.
And we've actually had some customers come in and try to help donate as well so we can continue helping everybody else.
The local donations coming in as the Trump administration says they will not tap into contingency funding to keep SNAP running.
We know the money is there, that we know that they shift money all the time, and it's unconscionable that they're saying to hungry people, we'll start worrying.
Unless lawmakers act this week, there will be no benefits issued November 1st. But back in Rockport, Daigle is keeping politics out of it.
People still have to eat. Kids still have to eat. Parents still have to provide. So if I work a little later that day, so be it.
And Mel, the owner, says they plan on packing more groceries for SNAP recipients at the end of this week. All you have to do is show your EBT card for proof. In Rockport, Max Williams, CBS 13 News.
And with tens of thousands of Mainers at risk of losing those SNAP benefits, we're hearing from both the Maine senators on this. Senator Angus King saying in a letter to the Secretary of Agriculture, quote, the USDA has several tools available which would enable SNAP benefits to be paid through or close to the end of November. And Senator Susan Collins adding, quote, I wrote to USDA Secretary Rollins last week asking for the administration to use this $5 billion, but department attorneys have said that's not feasible.